Hello, sir. Sneha here, and I have the privilege of asking today's last question. I know you are a great swimmer, and right now you run a free yoga clinic for senior citizens around you in Brisbane. Is yoga more of an old age thing, or can it also benefit some of us at the prime of our lives?
Thank you, Sneha, for your question. Yoga has been my passion for nearly 6 decades. And let me explain how it all started and what it all means. I never was a great swimmer by a long shot. I did practice at the Anderson Club, which later on became the Indian Life Saving Society Club in Dhakuria Lake in Calcutta. A more illustrious student and later on champion from that was Nafisa Ali. She went on to become Miss India and so on, and later on she became a political activist, actress, and so on. Anyway, coming back to my story, I learned about yoga as a student at Vishnu Ghosh's club. It was called Vishnu Ghosh's College of Physical Education. And I had a problem with my tonsils when I was about 6, 7 years old. And the doctor said that needs to come out. My father said, I want a second opinion. So he took me to Vishnu Ghosh's college and he said, nah, I'll fix him in 6 months. And indeed he did. And that's how I got hooked. And later on, I learnt their craft for quite a while. And then later on, I practiced not so much in India, but more so in the US, in Australia, and other parts of the world wherever I went. In fact, whenever I was associated with some university, I was always teaching a yoga class on the side to the students. And that's how I kept up my practice, and that's how I kept up my teaching. Now, coming back to your question, is yoga an old age thing? The answer is not at all. As I mentioned, I started learning yoga at the age of 6 and 7, and in fact, my whole class at that time was under the age of 10, and we had about 20 odd people in the class. So, yoga is hardly an old age thing. In fact, if you go around Calcutta or any other big cities around India, nowadays you see yoga classes, yoga schools have sprung up all over the place, which is a good thing. It never was back when I was young in Calcutta. Now, what happens when you are learning yoga at the prime of your life? That was your question. So let me illustrate that with the following question. When you go to a yoga class, you see most of the people in the class are not old at all. They are mostly young people, and most of them are women. Why is that? That is because yoga works at a hormonal level, and women are affected by fluctuation in hormones much more than men do. In fact, when women go through various body changes, for example, starting from the menstrual cycles, then having babies, and then later on menopause, it leaves a mark on their body. How do we know that? When we look at women's bones, they have those markers, just like the trees have markers from aging. You know, the tree rings, the women have bone rings, which mark those particular phases in their lives. So, women are much more susceptible to changes in body hormone than men are. And therefore, you see a lot more women taking up yoga at various ages. So, what does yoga do actually? It regulates the blood flow. So for example, if you raise the lower half of your body high up in the air, that means blood is rushing through the upper half of the body, which is not the normal state of the body. And that may sound not very important when you consider what the consequences are. The consequence, the biggest one, is hormonal. We have separate hormonal flows going around through our pituitary glands, through our thyroids, parathyroids, and our sex hormonal glands, and so on. And all of this is affected by our blood flow. And when you assume certain yoga postures, it actually impacts those particular organs. In particular, it affects your brain, your heart, kidney, lung, the big organs of the body. Now, this is paramount for your body's growth and development. And having those things regulated through yoga is the best thing you can do for your body. The best part, it requires no equipment, no gym, nobody else, just a small blanket. It's all free.